I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, they're friends. This is gonna be saucy. That's right, we're talking DC's Harley Quinn Season 2, Episode 7. There's no place to go but down. And by we, I mean us three. Chauncey can't be here, but Tatiana is. What's up, Tatiana?
Chauncey, we miss you. We miss you, Chauncey.
I wouldn't use the term we when we're talking about you miss her. Ryan, how are you in the back?
He doesn't there yet.
I am great.
You missed it.
I am
you
great.
missed it.
Sorry.
I actually preferred when you didn't say anything. I was like,
Oh.
wow, finally realized, finally caught on. I appreciate that. And of course, we have me. Tehran is in the building.
That's
if you
right.
don't know me, you don't know Harley Quinn. That is a real thing. That is actually how that goes down. We're going to be breaking down this week's episode, DC's Harley Quinn Season 2, Episode 7. There's no place to go but down. As thus, the trial of Harley Quinn and Ivy, Ratcatcher, Gordon taking orders from a cheerleader, Gordon the problematic drinker and vigilante, the pit, George Lopez, stand up, break out, the kiss. Yes. How Harley are you? How Harley are you? And that's going to be our special segment where, of course, we pick a scene from this episode and discuss how it basically is us. Some news and gossip and so much more. Tatiana, Marisa, you threw out the term too soon. What were your thoughts, overall thoughts on this week's episode?
I didn't really care for this episode. I thought it had some essence to the story as a whole, but I wasn't a super fan of this one. I do like the dynamic between Batgirl and her father now that he knows everything. I think that was one of my favorite parts. But other than that, I wasn't hugely fond of it. And I felt like Bane's voice changed. Was that just me?
Yeah, it changed a little. There were times where before I felt like there was this consistency to Bane's voice, but I will say that there were parts where I was like, is this someone else?
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It didn't seem the same.
Yeah, there were little things that were off about Bane's voice, but overall, you were not a fan of this episode. I think that I did enjoy elements of this episode. Of course, stand-up comedy is my thing. So watching some stand-up and my buddy George Lopez make an appearance. I also got to hang out with Ron Funches all week this week. So being with Ron and then seeing George made me love Harley Quinn this week. However, I could see what you're saying. This week's episode seemed to have a lot of filler. There were a lot of filler moments that did not hit as usual. And it got us to basically the whole point was to get us to this kiss. And I don't feel like that should have been the inspiration behind the kiss.
Yeah.
But we got there and we had been teased about the kiss. It was something we actually broke here first on the Harley Quinn after show, that there might be a blossoming romance between Harley Quinn and Ivy. We got to see it come alive. And we all participated in it this week. So let's start off with the trial of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Of course, they're on trial for the murders of Penguin and biting his nose off and all the things that they've done. Harley tells Ivy not to take the rap, to just let her go down. Ivy, of course, can't let that happen. What were your thoughts on the trial of Harley Quinn?
I thought it was kind of foolish. I mean, I know that the jury was a bunch of Two Faces friends or cohorts or whatever, and Bane was the judge.
The goons, and Bane was the judge.
Yeah, which made it funny. Like, I appreciated him being the judge, but I kind of thought, like, what's the point of this trial right now? I don't know. I didn't understand the point. I mean, the first time that they caught Harley Quinn, they froze her in ice for a really long time and used her as like a centerpiece. Like, that seems more of a villainous thing to do, but this was really organized to have a trial. So I wasn't a fan of the trial.
The trial was reminiscent, of course, with the concept of the trial where we see Scarecrow even in The Dark Knight Rises. And more importantly, we see this trope in the DC Comics where the villains are the ones basically judging all the heroes. We've seen this before. It's a play on that. We get the bat. If you remember in Batman, the series, there was a mutant bat that was created. We get that bat as the lawyer. And
Right.
of course, who speaks Bat? Bane's like, does anyone
Screeches.
speak Bat? Does anyone speak Bat? And no one speaks Bat, just screeches. Clearly, the trial is a farce, but it shows that Ivy's willing to be a ride or die. And she basically not only stands up for Harley, she implicates them in defiance and basically says, yeah, we did it and we do it again and we're going to do it to you and we're going to kill everybody. So they get convicted.
Like, we didn't really need a test though of Ivy's loyalty. You know what I mean? Even though Kite Man's into play and now he's a huge part of her life, I feel like we didn't need to see this loyalty. We knew it was there to begin with, you know.
Well, we have some Kite Man questions that we're going to throw out there. Kite Man, did Ivy cheat on Kite Man?
When?
She kissed Harley.
Oh, right.
I'm gonna say yes. Clearly, she has an emotional connection with Harley, and now she has a physical intimacy with Harley.
Well, we don't know if it's actually going to bloom into something.
It doesn't matter. I have a question.
Okay.
Tatiana Marisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like a wonderful person. I think
Thanks.
you're a lovely person.
Thanks.
I believe you're in a relationship right now. Yes? You're in a relationship?
Married, yeah.
What is that person in your life? What is this? Significant other, partner, husband, wife? Oh, a husband. Okay.
Yeah.
So if your husband
Where's this going?
kissed a person, would you feel like that's cheating? Nothing came of it. Nothing else happened, but they kissed.
Okay, but that's yes.
Harley and Ivy did.
Yes, but I feel like that's different because
why?
I'm going on year 10 of marriage, 4 kids deep. If we were just dating, I guess they are engaged.
Engaged. I just want to throw out there.
all right. Okay, yeah.
They went to a venue to rent it for the wedding.
Okay, yes. Okay, I agree with you. Yeah, it's cheating. That's total cheating.
Okay, just want to, we're going to get to that. And of course, we love the comments below. Make sure to comment, subscribe, share, spread the word, share the love. Tell your friends all about it. 5 stars on iTunes. We love hearing what you have to say. Of course, this is one of the most fun shows on television. LeBron James's favorite show. And it's one of the most fun shows, after shows to have as well. Thank you so much. Spread the word, spread the love. Just don't spread Corona. Thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. So let's get into a lot of things before we get to the kiss. Because the kiss is huge.
Yeah.
We're going to save the kiss. Save the best for last. Let's talk about Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher, thoughts?
He was like a blip of a villain. I hope he comes back, kind of. I don't know. I had like no thoughts about him because I was like, oh, there's Ratcatcher. Now he's gone.
Very weird. The concept of the sewer people, you know, honestly, maybe Gotham needs to check their sewers because it seems like a lot of villains in Gotham just live in the sewer. The Ratcatcher reminded me of, there was a villain also on Batman who had kids, who had orphans. He would basically collect the orphans and he would say, children are meant to be seen and not heard. And he would control the kids and the kids would go and steal presents and things like that. This was right before Christmas.
So this was your, that's what it reminded you of.
Yeah, it gave me that same vibe, of course, with the rats and of course his weird obsession with rats and how he was just letting them crawl all over him. Ugh, no one.
He was straight up cuddling with them. Yeah.
Ratcatcher, but yes, blip of a villain, as you put it, right?
Yeah.
Just like a villain who, it was there, but was he really even there?
That's what makes me wonder if he'll come back, if we'll see him again. Not that he's going to have like a significant role or anything, but because it was so short.
Yeah, and of course, Ratcatcher is actually a person in the Harley Quinn world. I mean, this is a person who is going to actually be in the Suicide Squad sequel. So that's the setup. So now we know, and played by a woman. So it's actually, we're going to change it because the original Ratcatcher is Otis Flanagan.
Yeah.
And now we're going to change it, of course. So Ratcatcher does have some concept. It's nice to get that nod, like, hey, fun, but not significant. Nothing
hey, you're
happened.
Here. That's it.
Yeah, you're here. Exactly. What was significant, of course, was the interactions between Gordon and Batgirl, and Gordon being ousted for his alcoholism. We've seen Gordon drink significantly. We've seen it throughout the series, and especially more after the new Gotham. storyline. So it's interesting. Batgirl brings it up. What do you think Gordon feels about Batgirl? Like he makes the statement, taking orders from a cheerleader. That's how this is what I've become. Has he fallen from grace?
He's like, yes. He's like, he's like the old bull and she's like the young calf. Like she's the new thing. And I think that when you put those two generations together and you want them to work together, it never ends well. Because she has her way of doing things and he has his way. And so I think seeing Batgirl there, it made him want to give up even more. And that's why his alcoholism just increased. Sad to say.
Clearly, he's an alcoholic. I mean, he even blunders their defeat of Ratcatcher basically over his
flask.
His flask that falls into the water.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of Gordon drinking, to the point where later Gordon at the dinner table, who, by the way, tried to throw Batgirl under the bus. How are things with Batgirl? Oh, she's a rookie. She doesn't know what she's doing. Clearly saved his butt several times. We get Gordon drinking and Barbra saying, I want you to stop for me.
Gordon, even that didn't do it.
It didn't do it.
That's what
the bullets from Two Face's goons did it. They broke the glass, and then we get this amazing moment where Batgirl basically, after defeating Two Face and his goons, reveals herself like, yeah, the costume might be inspired by the bat, but my father inspired me to fight crime.
Part of me thinks she just said that to encourage him, but I don't think she really felt that.
Yeah, it was definitely Batman. It's Batman all the way. The way she fangirls over Batman, it's Batman.
Like she even looked to the side and was like, no, you inspire me. But I was like, that's not true. He doesn't inspire you at all. Yeah. But
it did make him clean up his act, or at least inspired him right back, because then later, Gordon he's a beast when he goes and takes Two Face on at the police station.
Yeah, he kills them all.
Yeah, and Two Face actually was like, I should have killed you when I had you at the police station at that moment.
Right.
And then we see Gordon going in and just redeeming himself as commissioner, fitting into his uniform, going back in.
What, fitting into his uniform? He's missing a couple buttons, but yeah.
Barely, but he made it. So we get to see that aspect of it. I like that storyline. It was cute, finally, because at some point it was annoying that Gordon couldn't figure out that Batgirl was his own daughter. At some point, It was very annoying. So I'm glad they just put that out there and it's out in the open and we're done with that aspect. Yeah. Now let's talk about Harley Quinn, of course, gets convicted. Ivy gets convicted. They go to what they think is going to be Arkham. Arkham is easy breakout, but no, they are taken to the pit. And we're all familiar with the pit. If you don't know, that's where Bane came from. Of course, we saw a lot of it in The Dark Knight Rises. We get the understanding of the pit. Bane just pushes them in there. I'm not only the judge, I'm the warden. And he just pushes them in there. Of course, with don't worry, there's padding.
It's for dramatic effect.
Exactly. And so now they're in the pit. The pit is their jail. Arkham, they could have broke out of. The pit, it's impossible to break out of. What were your thoughts on the pit?
I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought that the fact that there were no doors on the cells was perfect, because he's like, where will you go? Of course he's right. Where are they gonna go? And then you meet all of these interesting villains who are just doing all of this therapy. Like Croc was my favorite, and he's drawing that or painting that picture of
Reed in the water.
In the water.
Like, this is a guy named Reed and he's in the water. It's a bunch of crocodiles just ripping him apart.
She's
of course,
like,
you get Zaza. Zaza is great to have in there. We're familiar with Zaza, of course, from the comic books and from the show Gotham. Seeing Zaza. Zaza was also, I believe, in one of the movies. So we're seeing all these people play. I liked it a lot. It was fun. It was good. Being in the pit, there are no doors. You can't escape. It is the pit, but it's like also a nod to prison reform and its actual rehabilitation. People, all these prisoners are actually becoming adjusted. They're not angry. They're actually reforming. They're rehabilitating.
And then Ivy comes along and she's like, actually, let me be real with everybody. Life is just one big pit. So I went from being in a pit emotionally to being in a pit literally, and it sucks.
Exactly. So we get this tidbit of here everyone's actually being reformed. It's actually a great nod of social justice of what prisons are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be just punishment, but rehabilitation is supposed to be their number one priority.
Right.
We actually get a place that is technically doing that. But
see it.
our girls need to break out. And they get this plan. George Lopez is coming to do stand up at the talent show. They're going to basically do stand up. It's going to be so bad, it's going to cause a riot. They're going to jump on the helicopter with George Lopez and fly to freedom. Stand up. We get the stand up set. Harley Quinn didn't make her bed. She can't do it. They're practicing, though. She's practicing. I really like seeing that. What do you think of Harley's stand up set?
I mean, it was fine. It was fine.
Low hanging fruit.
I'm super rough on stand-up comics. I am not like the type of person you'd want in stand-up to be in the audience for stand-up comedians. Like I don't enjoy it. So for me, it was
laugh
like
a lot, and I think you'd be a great audience member. But I get it.
I do laugh, but it's not stand-up comedy is really hard.
Yeah, well, it's a good
Really
thing
hard.
I'm brilliant and I'm hilarious. So
yeah, sure.
here's the thing. The concept is I dare you to come to a show. So here's the thing. The concept is we get the stand up. It's going to be so bad, it's going to cause a riot. Harley can't do it. Ivy, who we are led from the get-go, hey guys, there's a talent show. You should both do it. Ivy will never do it. I won't do it. That's what she says. Of course, Ivy's the one who ends up doing the stand-up. She goes up there. She does the stand-up after George Lopez, who had a very cute set. It was a good cameo. Like, all right, mi essays, or whatever he's saying as he's flying away. Just
we're all
George
loco.
Lopez.
I think that's what he said.
Yeah, George being George, and then of course Ivy comes out and does the set. It bombs. It's mean. It's coming off,
Of course,
mean-spirited, because that's a great nod to stand up, where if you're basically faking it, it's not real. People can pick up on that, and they don't really enjoy that kind of comedy. Low-hanging fruit. But then she goes on stage, she continues, and it comes off very real. She even tells their plan, and it gets all the laughs. Her being the realist is what gets the laugh. Even her voice change and everything like that. What did you think of Ivy's actual set?
I loved it. I think it was finally a time where she could be honest and, not just to one person, but to speak her feelings out. So I thought it was a great growth point for Ivy. And it was nice to see her be vulnerable with more than just Kite Man and Harley. So it was good. And it's sad too, because she's still so depressed, even though she's like engaged and she's like, I thought I was happy and all this kind of stuff. But, she still felt like she was in a pit somewhat.
100%.
So,
And that's the thing, the whole concept of an emotional pit. Now she's in a physical pit. How does this play? It gets the riot response that they actually wanted, because now the audience is inspired to riot. Ivy and Harley are getting free. Bain is going after them. Of course, we get the nod at Cheryl, who is watching over Harley.
yeah.
And Harley has to escape from Cheryl. We get they're escaping, and Ivy comes back for Harley again. Harley sacrifices for Ivy, is being dragged back towards the pit by Bain, is falling in the pit. And
that shot.
However, exactly.
It was amazing. That shot
Free
where
fall.
Yes, and she just goes like this. I was like, oh, if I could just take a picture of that and
she gives
frame
in.
it.
She's saying, hey, I'm going in. And of course, Ivy comes back. Somehow gravity ceases to work. Of all the things that I find,
it's the she's on the plant. That's why she comes. It doesn't have to do with gravity.
It bothered me the most that they did not understand how gravity worked. But Ivy, of course, has managed to pull Harley out, and now we have the kiss that you felt was too soon. Why?
Yeah, it's too soon because I feel like there's no leading up to it. Here we are building this really great friendship, and the blocks have been put there, the foundation has been laid for a great friendship, but for all of a sudden for it to just turn in, they've had a lot of good heartfelt moments, but I felt like none of them were romantic. It was all just really friend based, which I liked. And now we have this kiss that happened, and it was like, I don't know, was this supposed to be like the ultimate sacrifice, her coming back for Harley, and that's what made them think that this was the time?
A bond, an emotional bond, a physical bond. It was the time. Ivy was feeling extremely vulnerable. Harley had sacrificed for her partner. They feel so strong.
I mean, essentially, Ivy chose Harley over Kite Man in the courtroom. So I think that pretty much speaks to who she's most loyal to. If you were going to save Ivy or Kite Man, she would save, I'm sorry, if you were going to save Harley Quinn or Kite Man, you would save Harley. So, I guess that's a nod to her feelings for Harvey, being more than Kite Man. But I feel like it's a different relationship.
Yes, but it's not, because she's in a physical relationship and an emotional relationship with Kite Man. And I think that we tend to think because, they're different genders. But if it was a guy who had cheated on a girl with another guy, we would consider that cheating. That's something that we're biased. We're biased, especially, look, two attractive women, it would be okay. The concept is it's still cheating. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Let me know. And also, are we shipping Harley and Ivy?
Not yet. Not yet.
Or Kyvie? Hashtag Hyvie or Kyvie? Kite Man and Ivy or Harley and Ivy? Let me know. Let's play How Harley Are You? What was the scene that was the most you?
I think when Ivy was on the stage and then she was just completely bombing. And then she decided to keep it real, totally go off scripts. Been there, not with stand-up comedy, but just been there when I was speaking before. So I really felt that, you get that nervous sweat going on when you're just like, nobody likes this. You just get so nervous. Yeah, been there.
Completely understand. Mine is, of course, going to have to be when Ivy does amazing. That's me every time. Let's talk about our news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, in the comic book world, Harley Quinn has a crush on a DC hero. We go to Screen Rant, our friends over there.com. Harley has a crush, and it's not on Poison Ivy. Of course, it is with our boy, the silliest superhero, Booster Gold. Booster Gold and Harley are teaming up in Harley Quinn number 72, spend a lot of time together, and Harley develops feelings for him, calling him a big slobbery golden retriever, and Booster ships them as Goldie Quinn. So it's a fun
I love
thing.
that way better, Goldie Quinn.
So if you think, let's talk. We're going with Hyvie, Kyvie, or maybe Goldie Quinn. Let us know your hashtag below. That is our news and gossip. Where can people find you if you want to be found, Tatiana Marisa?
I am at Tatiana Marisa on all social media platforms.
I'm going to be at I Am Tehran all across the board. That's IAMTEHRAN. And of course, hosting and paneling on a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows, because all of your favorite TV shows are my favorite TV shows too. Ryan, where can people find you if they want to?
You can find me at Ryan Nilsson in Star Wars
I'm kidding,
News.
Ryan. They don't. They don't want to find you. We will talk to you
Ryan,
next
we
week.
love you.
Of course, we miss you, Chauncey. We will see you all next week. DC's Harley Quinn Season 2 continues. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.